Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel. In today's video, I want to talk about everything that I read in the month of July. I read 19 books in the month of July, which is seriously insane for, honestly, I think anyone, but also for me. I am an extremely slow reader, so reading 19 books in 1 month is kind of crazy, insane. So I'm just going to jump right into this video. I'm going to try and not ramble too much about each book, but here we go. So the first book that I finished was The Phantom Tollbooth, and I actually read most of this in June. I just finished it like 2 or 3 days into July, and I feel like I should probably include them in the month before. But then when I think about it, I'm like, it really doesn't matter all that much. We read it in the same calendar year. I feel like it's probably fine. But anyway, so The Phantom Tollbooth, it's a children's book. It was really good though. It was really fun. I gave it 4 stars. I think that if I was reading it like seriously, I probably would have rated it lower, but for just a fun, quick read, I gave it 4 stars. Next, I read Lost and Lassoed, and honestly, I have been obsessed with Lila Sage and the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I just have Wild and Wrangled left. I'm like looking over here because it's right here, but I have Wild and Wrangled left, and then I just need to read Soul Searching, and then her new book that comes out. I don't know if it comes out this year or next year, but anyway, I love this series. I read all of the other ones in June, and I really enjoyed them because I just felt like they are more than just a romance. Like the characters, they have more depth to them, and I really enjoyed that. And they're fun. Like it's the only cowboy romance I've read, and so I really like them and I enjoy them. Sorry if I'm like profusely sweating. It's so hot in my RV. It's so hot in California right now. It's like over 100 degrees in Southern California. The AC is on, so I hope you can hear me with the little mic, but like it's still so hot. So if I'm like visibly sweating, that's why. So the next book that I read was Summer in the City by Alex Astor. I really liked this book. I read it in 1 single day, but it's also not that big. I think it's less than 300 pages. It's 291 pages. But I was starting it on my Kobo, and my Kobo literally died in the middle of me reading it. And so thankfully I had the physical copy, so I was able to pick it up, and I finished it in 1 day. I thought it was really cute. I wouldn't say it's like the best thing I've ever read, but it was really enjoyable and it was really easy to binge. I gave it 3.75 stars. Next, I listened to The Correspondence with my mom. We carpool together for work, and so we pick an audiobook, or I pick an audiobook, and we listen to it to and from work. And so we listened to The Correspondence, and I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It actually made me like pick up a pen and paper and write some letters. So that was fun and enjoyable. I think that if you have been interested in reading that type of story, I definitely would. Basically just about this older woman and a couple years in her life told through letters, emails, text messages, things like that, notes even. But it was nice to listen to it because it has a full cast narration and it was really enjoyable. Next, I read Daggermouth. I gave this one 3 stars. I thought it was fine. I don't know what the hype is about. Like, it's good, but it's not, I don't know. I did not really enjoy it all that much. I gave it 3 stars, which is not a bad rating. 3 stars is just kind of like there, you know? Like it was good, but it wasn't great. So I don't really have much to say about this book. It was there. I read it. Next, I read Inkbinder's War by Rick A. Romero. This is coming out on August 18th. This is about a man and his grandfather was an inkbinder, and there's a war. It takes place during World War II. So World War II is happening, and they're recruiting people for World War II, and he takes the place of his grandfather, and he is also an inkbinder, but he's not very good at ink binding yet. Like his grandfather's been teaching him. But anyway, so the story takes off from there, from him going into this secret kind of military group, and they fight back against evil, dark, magical, like fantasy people. And I don't know, it was good. I'm currently reading his other book, The Essence of Love, and I'm loving it. I thought Inkbinder's War was fine. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It just moved a little bit slowly for me, and I'm not a big historical fiction person, and this is like very heavily historical fiction with fantasy and romance, but I would say it's primarily historical fiction, fighting scenes, and I didn't love that. The other stuff, like the romance and the fantasy, I thought was interesting, which is why I gave it 3 stars, but wasn't my favorite of the month. Next, I read A Five-Letter Word for Love by Amy James. This book I got because it was on sale on Kobo. So I saw that it was Wordle based, and it takes place in Canada on Prince Edward Island. And I love the thought of Prince Edward Island because I love Anne of Green Gables. And so when they talked about Wordle, Prince Edward Island, and Anne of Green Gables, it's like, okay, I'll read it. And I think it was like less than $2 or $3 on Kobo. So I picked it up and I really did enjoy it. I gave it 4.25 stars. I thought it was really good. But again, I love Wordle, and this book like had a lot of Wordle in it. And I love, the other things that I talked about. So I don't know if anyone that just like picked it up would really like it, but I really enjoyed it. Next, I read Abby Offsides, and I picked this up because of the World Cup, and I read it during that time, and I enjoyed it. I do think it was a little, the book's not that long, but I do think it was a little long for what it was. But I also liked it because it wasn't your typical romance. Again, there was a little bit more depth to it. They're also like in their 30s. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Next, I read My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. I did not like this book. I gave it 2.5 stars. And I only gave it 2.5 stars because it kept me like wanting to know what was going to happen. But I did not enjoy the book. Like from the get-go, I did not enjoy it. And if it were not for it being a book club book, I would have DNF'd it. But I listened to this with my mom in the car as well. And we kind of had the same feelings about it. Like the ending was just a little bit like lackluster, and there were so many twists that it was almost too much. It kind of felt like every single like mystery trope that you can think of was put into this book. And for what reason? Like it felt like she was trying to write like a million books in one. And I'm like, you could just write another book. You don't need them all to be in this one book. It was just too much. And I felt like it didn't justify the ending and all of the twists. Next, I started my reread of City of Bones. I have actually only read the first 2 of this series. I read them back in high school, so like over 10 years ago now, I read them. So I decided to start them again. So I have read, as of right now, City of Bones and City of Ashes. I enjoyed them both very much. I gave City of Bones 4 stars, and I gave City of Ashes 4 stars also. I am going to hopefully be trying to read this series more closely together. It's a goal of mine is to get through all the series that I'm currently reading. So we're going to try, but I did enjoy these 2, and so far I'm having a lot of fun reading them. Next, I read Heartstopper, the first volume. I have read maybe like the first 3 or 4 volumes before, but now with the last one that just came out, I decided to reread them, and I haven't read them in probably like 4 years or something like that, maybe even 5. So I decided to reread them. So I read volume 1, and of course I loved it. How can you not love Nick and Charlie? I just feel like they're so much shorter. Like I remember them being a little bit longer, and I feel like I'm just flying through them. Like I read this one in 2 days just because I didn't have time to like sit down and read them. But today I read both volume 2 and 3. So they just feel so much shorter to me now, but I still love them. I still love Nick and Charlie and all of their friends, and they're just so great. And I think they're fantastic. And if you haven't read them at this point, you definitely should. Next, my mom and I listened to, I have my iPad here, so it's like I've got all my info, but it's called Escape to the Little French Cafe. And then we also listened to Summer at the Little French Cafe, both by Karen Clark. They're in like a little series, interconnected standalone series. And they're cute. I gave them both 3 stars. Like they're just fun reads to just like kind of escape and not really like, you don't have to like use your brain, Next, I read The Sofa. This one was interesting. The plot I really thought I would like a lot. I like weird books and books that are kind of about nothing. But the ending of like, oh my gosh, it's not even that, like look how tiny it is. But literally like halfway through, I just felt like it lost the plot. Like how do you lose the plot in like such a small book? And I get it. It's supposed to be weird. But I just felt like it was too weird. Like it went like a step too far to where I was just like, what's even happening now? I didn't like it. I gave it 2.75 stars. Next, I read Metal Slinger for a book club that I did with a local bookstore, and I really liked it. I actually had book club this morning, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to like get out of my house more and meet people, like bookish people. So I had a lot of fun with this, and I did enjoy the book. I gave it 3.75 stars. It wasn't like the best romantasy I've ever read, but it wasn't terrible either. And I just like, if you haven't read this book, like I can't tell you, there's like a thing at the end that happens and you're just like, what? I would recommend it. Like if you're thinking about reading it, I would read it, but just know it's kind of crazy. Next, I read Kenny and the Heiresses of Surith. This is by an indie author. His name is Joseph K. Adu. And this book was really interesting. I gave this one 3 stars. It's written almost like a play, kind of, where it has like, not interludes, but acts. Like they weren't chapters, they were acts. And it was like act 1, scene 2, or whatever, you know? And then it was written like, the main character's name is Kenny, and then he has like his godmother, and so it's like Kenny and then like his line, and then godmother and then her line. And so it was written like that, which I thought was really interesting. And honestly, I felt like it almost made it read faster, and there's so much dialogue. Like this book is mainly dialogue. Next, I read The Odyssey. Now, this book was good, but I really wanted to listen to the audiobook with like along with reading it. But the audiobook for this particular translation by Emily Wilson is an Audible exclusive. And I strongly dislike Audible. Anything Amazon based, I strongly dislike. And so it was really hard for me not to get the audiobook because,
yeah, I don't like to support Amazon in any way, shape, or form.
So I listened to a different translation and it like really threw me off. So I gave it 3 stars, and I think one day I will go back and reread this book, and I might just get the audiobook from Audible. Ugh. But I might just do it just so I can like really immerse myself, because when I was physically reading it, I was really enjoying it. But when I switched over to the audiobook, I did not like it so much. So I think it was just a translation that I didn't enjoy. So I gave it 3 stars, but I do think that I would have enjoyed it more. And I think that I will enjoy it more when I go back and reread it or get the audiobook from Audible. And lastly, I finished this book today, but I read like 85 to 90% of it in July. So I'm counting it as a July read, and that is They Both Die at the End. This is my third 5-star read of this year, and I have read like 64 or 65 books so far this year. Now, don't get me wrong, I have had like a good amount of 4 stars and like 4.5, but I have only had 3 5-star reads, and this was one of them. This book was so incredibly fantastic. I think that everyone should read this book. It was sad, but like perfect. I don't know how to explain it. It was just so perfect. Like the boys in this book are just so precious, and it's literally the title, They Both Die at the End. But there was like this part of me while reading this that was like, they'll be okay. Like they'll pull through. They'll be the ones that don't. And of course, as the title says, they do both die at the end. But, you know, it was just one of those books where like you felt for these characters and you just wanted them to succeed so badly. And it also, like, this book really made me think about like my life, because I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety that I have never in my entire life ever had to deal with. And this book just reminded me that despite things being difficult in your life, like tomorrow is not guaranteed, and you should try to do whatever you can every single day of your life to make that day count. And obviously not every single person has the opportunity to do something crazy, but they didn't do anything crazy either. Like, I don't know. It was a really beautiful book, and I really liked it. So I would definitely recommend that you read this book. So those were the 19 books that I read this month in July. Absolutely insane. I do not think I'll be reading that many books ever again in one single month. I mean, who knows? Maybe, possibly, but usually like 11 books is a lot for me. So reading 19 was kind of crazy, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time. It didn't feel like I read 19 books, if you know what I mean. I had a good time. And honestly, the books that I read at the beginning of the month, I'm like, I read that? Like, I don't even remember. I remember reading them, but I don't remember them being in July. Like, it feels like so long ago. Like, July felt like it lasted forever, but not in a bad way. So I am so ready, though, for fall. Like, so unbelievably ready. Like I said, it is like 1,000,000 degrees here. So I'm here for fall. I am so ready for fall. And for all the fall reads, I am very excited for that. But if you liked today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the bell notification if you enjoy my content. And I hope that everybody is having a wonderful and fantastic rest of their day. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.